Go back to the Yoruba tradition. In Ifa, the tradition is called Ifa, we have a prophet called Orunmila, which would be like Jesus, or Muhammad, or Krishna. Orunmila, before he was a diviner, Orunmila was a wrestler. And in Yoruba land, wrestling is called Ijakadi. Ijakadi is a general term which means fighting. It can be headbutting, it can be punching, it can be kicking, it can be biting. Ijakadi. When you break that word down, you also have eke. Eke is the word that the Yoruba use to define wrestling. But the most popular term is giribo. Giribo. Anyone ever heard of giribo? No? Giribo. In Yoruba land, you say, giribo, giribo, giribo. Yay! You're calling someone to come and wrestle. You're calling someone to come and wrestle. Igbo means to butt with the head. And in our praise poetry for the prophet Orunmila, we say, Orunmila, the one who fought death. The translation comes out fought, but really it says the one who gave death a headbutt. So it's telling you right there in the scripture that there is a martial tradition within the scripture. The scripture in the Yoruba religion is called the Odu Ifa. The Odu Ifa. So Orunmila, it's already talking about giving death a headbutt. The headbutt is called Igbo. So in Yoruba land, the fighting, Ijakadi, is everything. You punch, bite, you scratch, you spit, you kick, all those things are involved. Eke, Igbo is the head-butting section of the wrestling. We also have Odus that speak of how to fight with weapons. Odus that speak of how to use herbs for healing. So the system is complete, but all those things didn't come across the water. They're not known across the whole diaspora. Everyone in the diaspora has a bit of a puzzle. So what we've been trying to do is bring all of those things together. In Cuba, you have what they call Santeria. In Puerto Rico, they call it more Santeria. In Cuba, they will say Lukumi. There's an Orisha called Eshu. Eshu, in Brazil, Eshu. Legba in Haiti. And one of the dances for Eshu's implement is, you see this. In Cuba, they call it a garabato. It's a curved stick. And they say the stick is what Eshu uses to pull things to him, to pull energy to him. Okay? The dance for Eshu is done using this stick in a hooking motion. It's also used to strike with. But if you're not familiar with the combat aspects, you won't see that. But that is Eshu's dance. It's fighting with this wand. Ogun, of course, as in Brazil and Haiti, Ogun fights with the machete. So you have all these fighting elements. It said that Ogun's hands, before there was iron made, Ogun is the Orisha of iron. Before there was iron made, Ogun used his hands to cut. And those are fighting moves. Those are cutting moves. He used his hands to stab. And if you ever watch African dance, the power comes from the body. Let me grab Isaac. I can beat him. So, if you see the African dance moves, they're not stiff. Everything is flowing from the body. So if I hit his arm, I'm going to use his arm. Let's say that this is. If I'm just cutting and I do that, okay, that's going to hurt. But this, it hurts more because of my body, because of the body movement. That's the difference in the movement. Okay? So if I'm dancing with my machete, the movements aren't stiff. The movements are flowing. So your body is constantly doing this type of action. So that's where the martial aspect comes in. And in most of the African martial arts, not all of them, there's always a dancing component. There's a dancing component. Even in some of the wrestling where you have these kind of motions, you see it in African dance. I'm not just leave you up. Okay? Let's say that he throws a punch at me, okay? And I do this. That's breaking his arm. Okay, but the movement comes from that. Okay, the same movement used elbow, or it's a block. So if he's punching at my body, it's the same movement, but it comes from the dance. So the dance is training your body to fight. The dance is always training your body to fight. So a lot of these movements are in the dances for the orishas, but that was the thing that was hidden. They didn't want to show that, just like with Capoeira, they didn't want to show those things. I go back to Cuba talking about the Lukumi. They have something in Cuba called Palo Mayambe. Anyone ever heard of that? Palo?
Yeah.
Yes? Palo's roots are in the Congo. Also within Palo, there is something called Mani. Mani is a Cuban system of fighting that involves punching, hitting with the forearms, and the elbows. Mani. But that word comes from a Congolese word, mwene. The Portuguese couldn't say mani, so they couldn't say mwene, so they said mani. So you see in documents, it's Mani Congo, the chief of the Congo. So again, you have another connection with Cuba, with Brazil. Cuba also has the orishas, the same exact orishas that Brazil has. Haiti has the same thing. I was talking to someone earlier about voodoo, and that's a negative word. Everybody says, oh, voodoo, there's creative voodoo. But really, when you know what the word means, it has nothing to do with evil. It's people's perception of that. And so, in the Yoruba tradition, we have something called Iwa Rere, which means good character. That's what all this is about. What you're doing here is trying to develop a good character using a warrior tradition to do that. Capoeira is that. So when I hear people say that, oh, this is negative, this is evil, it's no different than someone who has bad character using Christianity in a negative way, or using Judaism or Islam in a negative way. It's no different. Ifa has a set of principles that involve having good character, a set of principles that involve morality and ethics, and they're all taught in the Odu Ifa. Does anybody have any questions? No? So I want to show you a couple of weapons. We can make a connection here. I wanted to bring this because this is a connection to the Congo. In the Congo, this is called a kapinga. The kapinga, there's many, many ethnic groups. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there's 200 different ethnic groups. So when you say African martial arts, what are you saying? It's 200 ethnic groups in the Congo alone. So that's a lot. Nigeria, I think, has maybe, Adabisi, 30, 40, 50 different ethnic groups in Nigeria?
No, it's like 200 to 300, depending on different ones.
How many?
200 to 300.
Okay, see, I was way off. So you can see that when you say African martial arts, what are you talking about? You know, you're just laying a foundation for the roots of capoeira. Pinga. Now this weapon, it can be thrown overhand. It can be thrown sideways, and it's also can be thrown to bounce off the ground. So it can bounce and hit the enemy. And you see the different pieces on it. All these pieces can cut you. Okay, it's not just used for throwing, it's also used for inside fighting. But if someone has a shield, if the weapon hits and sticks, it will flip. That's why it was designed. This is kapingas from the Congo. This one, as well, is from the Congo. And this is for stabbing purposes and also lopping off limbs. It's martial arts on the body. And this is for taking heads off as well. You know, this is from the Congo. And again, I'm not going to mention the other groups because there's so many. But this is also Congolese. This piece is, you'll find this piece is listed under the Congo, but this one is in Chad, and also the area of Chad, northern Nigeria, and Niger. This piece on this end is used for striking, but this one is used to disarm other weapons. If the fighter wants to change use of the weapon, he will put leather here so he can use it this way. So it can be used to slice, put weight in the slice, as well as hook, as well as